I don't know what that came across as, but no, that's the only way I can think to start this. Smile was directed by Parker Finn and stars Sosie Bacon, and is a horror film that's coming out this year, which has been pretty well marketed. And at this point, you should know the basic plot, but in case you don't, let me get you caught up. A woman who works in psychology has a patient who begins to experience weird, events in her life, but soon that patient commits suicide in front of her, but smiles before she does. And soon she's encountering many people who smile before things happen, and she soon begins to believe that she may be cursed and there's something darker afoot. Now, real quick, want to address something that's not about the movie. Setup is changing a little bit. It's going to be back to normal soon. I bought another shelf, so I have to put that shelf in, so we're going to go through a little bit of a fixer-upper, but then this whole setup's going to be back to normal. But with that said, let's get back to the movie. Smile, overall, I think is fine. It's a pretty good movie. I think it has some great horror aspects to it. The fact that you can make people smile that much and it doesn't come across as cringe is amazing. But I didn't necessarily love this movie. I liked it, and this was my biggest concern going in, was I wasn't sure I was going to love this movie as much as I originally wanted to. I mean, it's got a lot of cool ideas in it, and I think it does some things that are nice. But despite the fact that I think the direction here is great, and there's some really dark, creepy stuff that happens in here, the movie doesn't feel all that original. It feels like I've seen a lot of the stuff in it before, and that's not a horrible thing. It's just I didn't feel as, great as I could have, because of the fact that it really feels like a lot of things I've seen before, and I really love when I see horror films that do something new or put their own creative touch in it. Not to say this film's not original, there's a lot of great original things in it. The performance by Sosie Bacon is amazing. I have never seen her in anything else before. I'm not sure if she's done anything else, but she's really great in this movie. I think the movie is gorgeous, because the way they managed to shoot this horror film. My issue with it is that, again, there are some very typical shots you see in most horror films, and there is an abundance of jump scares in here. Way too many jump scares, like overboard amounts of jump scares. And the film does feel a little amateur, but that's not something I'm going to complain about, because I'm happy that this is a younger person who doesn't necessarily have all the clout of a bigger director who's making this movie, and he's getting it to come to life. And that's something special that a lot of people aren't going to get a chance to do. But I'm really happy that he's got this out there, and it's doing very successfully. This film is doing very well. He's got a nice budget for it, and this film looks great, and it will terrify you. There's some really creepy stuff that happens in this movie that I liked, and it got more than one reaction out of me, I can tell you that much. I was really happy with my experience in the movie. I like it a lot, like I said. I'm not saying it's fantastic, but I'm saying it's really good all the way through, and it's an enjoyable watch for you to sit down with, and you just want to have popcorn and sit there slowly sweating the entire time. This is something that I think is worthwhile, because it does give you something that is digestible without trying to go too extreme and in too much depth. It's really simplistic, easy to understand. It's good for an audience. This is a film that lends itself more to an audience viewing than a lot of criticism, which I liked a lot. Great movie. I was really, moved by the fact that they did this much for a new guy coming into a film. We need this kind of stuff more often. I think its main strength, though, in this entire film is the fact that it's very well knit. It just sets things up, it gets going with it, and it just keeps moving all the way through, so you don't get bored along the way and wondering when it's all going to end. And that takes a lot for a horror film, because horror films can feel, what I like to call horror fatigue, where you've been scared so much, you don't just give a hoot anymore, and you're just like, oh, okay, that's scary. But this film doesn't have that. It does a really good job at that, and the script is very good in this movie. I liked it quite a bit, despite the fact I said it's not completely flawed, not the most original thing I've ever seen. I'd recommend and say go see it. I'm gonna give Smile a 7 out of 10. So thank you guys always so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all next time.